Hi, welcome back to Dusty Book Sniffers. My name's Nicole and today we're here for my Read Around the World challenge. Good morning, good evening everybody, and welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for joining me today. I do appreciate you being here. As I said earlier, we are here for my Read Around the World challenge, and today we are in Algeria. So if you are new here and you're wondering what the Read Around the World challenge is, I am endeavouring to read at least once a week, if not once a fortnight, a book from a different country around the world. And I'm doing it in alphabetical order, and I'm trying to find books that have been translated into English because I don't read any other language, and also trying to find authors that are still living or at least born and have studied or had a fair bit to do with the country that they're from and or writing about. So yeah, so that is how that works. If you would like to join along and or do this challenge for yourself, you don't necessarily have to join along with me if you don't want to, but you would like to do this challenge yourself, we do actually have a printable download in our Discord, and you will find that link down the below underneath this video. If you go to the Read Around the World Challenge tab in our Discord and scroll right up to the top, you will find at the top pinned there a free printable download, and it has all the countries and a little checkbox so you can check it off as you've done it. It also explains how I'm doing it and has some FAQs that people have asked about it and all the rest of it. It's a very, very low-key type challenge. It's just read them when you can. You don't have to post a video if you don't want to. It'd be great if you did, and tag me, let me know that you've done it, or send me a message, and that way I can come and pay you some love on your channel while you're doing the challenge. But as I said, today we are in Algeria. The author, and I'm going to just put it on the screen because I do not know how to say it. I've tried to do a Google pronunciation and even Google didn't come up with anything. But I think it is actually Kutha is how you may pronounce her name. Adimi. Maybe. But anyway, you can see it on the bottom of the screen. That is the author's name. This book has 208 pages. It was published in 2017. It was first translated into English, and then it was redone again in 2020 under a different name called Our Riches. So it was re-released again. Like, it wasn't retranslated, but it was released again in 2020 as Our Riches. It is a fictional biography. And I read this on Kindle. I gave it a 3.5-star rating. That's about it. That's all I've got. And the name of it is A Bookshop in Algiers. So basically what it's doing is in 1936, I'm just looking at the name. In 1936, Edmond Chalot, I think is how you pronounce it, he purchased a little bookshop, and it was a very tiny bookshop. I think it was like 7 meters by 4 meters wide. He purchased that, and subsequently this story is a fictionalized biography, but it is drawing information from this gentleman's diary and whatnot. So the book is set out as a now and then, and the then part of it is generally his diary inserts that he's put in there, and the story is following a young man named Riyad who has come to Algiers. He's been hired to clean out the bookshop. So the bookshop opened in 1936, it closed in 1990, and you get the story between 1936 and 1990 of all the things that were happening. And it wasn't just a bookshop. The Edmund actually done publishing and stuff like that, and it talked about, you know, him sorting out, getting called up for war, and then the problems that they faced during there, like shortage of paper and stuff like that. And then it also touches on another section where he went into business with some friends and how that turned out. And it's all done. All that part is all done by snippets out of his diary. And then the now section of it is following Riyad. As I said, he's come to Algeria or Algiers, and he is basically has been asked to clean it out, to throw all the books out. Now, he's not a reader. He doesn't like books. He just feels no connection to the books, but he soon starts to learn that this bookshop has meant so much to the people in the area. And so he starts to realize that a bookshop is not just a bookshop, especially this particular one. And the reason that the bookshop is getting moved on from 1990 until 2017, it was it was a government lending library. And so there's the guy that used to run that. He's in the picture a little bit as well, and he sort of makes him Ryard understand the story behind the bookshop. So it was a really good little short story, for me, a short story. As I said, it only had 208 pages, and I pretty much just read it in a day and a half, like just slowly went through it. I've done some highlighting and stuff like that. There was some really good little one-liners in there, and I just really enjoyed learning about some of the characters, like from the actual snippets from the diary and stuff like that. So she spent about 12 months, it says in the back of the book, there's all of the reference that she, like where she got all her information from, and she spent about a year combing through copious amounts of documents and all that sort of stuff, and all that's sort of thrown in there. And like when Reinhardt's cleaning out, just his blaseness of, like, he just throws the books away. He finds little bits and pieces but doesn't think anything of them. You know, it talks about the black and white pictures that are in there, which are obviously, you know, authors and all that had come to the store and whatnot were on the wall and all that sort of stuff. So as I said, the bookshop closed in 1990, then it became a government lending library, and the government obviously was broke at the time at this, and that's how it's the story started, that they've sold it off to get money in, and then this person wanted it cleaned out and whatnot. So some of my favorite quotes from the book was, one who reads is worth two that don't. I thought that was very cool. Like I like to collect little bits and pieces out of books, and I pick my favorite one for at the end of the month, and then that goes into my reading journal. The other one was, which is very very true, like, so one of my favorite quotes is from one of the people that are in the now section, and it says, "We are the people of this city, and our memory is the sum of all our stories." I just thought that was absolutely brilliant, and so that'll probably get a place in my reading journal. And another one was the couple of the characters were conversing, and one of the guys turned around and goes, "You know how it is, where we don't know what riches we have until they're gone," basically. And it's like, it's so true. Like, and that's not just with riches, that's with anything. You don't know how valuable something is until it's gone, like, to you. And so that sort of rung through to me. And then there was another one where Reynard was saying to one of the characters, he goes, "I don't like books, I don't get along with books." And then he and he turns around and he goes, "Books get along with everyone, you silly fool." I just thought that is so true. Like, books do get along with everybody. There is a book out there even for the person that doesn't read. There is a book out there somewhere, even if it is just a graphic novel or a comic, or there is something somewhere that will get along with you. And I just thought that was very, very poignant. Overall, it was a really quaint little story, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. I love how it began, and I love how it ended. It was very similar. Like the opening paragraphs were very similar to the ending. And yeah, so overall it was a really quaint little book. I just really enjoyed it. And how I come to pick it was, I just Googled books from Algeria, and that one was near the top of the list and on Goodreads. So, and then I sort of check how many times it's been shelved for that country, because sometimes people will shelve something for a particular country, but it's only got one mention of it and it's not even set in that country. And I did come across a few like that. So, yeah, so basically I sort of check to see how many, and then I have to be able to find it on Kindle, because some of the books that I've got coming up, one country, I can't get anything in my country on that, and I've had to get it shipped from the UK, and it was from Amazon. The UK, it was going to cost me something like $90, and if I bought it here on Amazon it was like $144, and I ended up finding it in Amazon, and it should be here in June, they said. So, well, fingers crossed that it comes. I paid through PayPal, so hopefully I'll be fine. All right, so a little bit about the author. She was born in 1986, and she was born in Algeria. Quite a mouthful. She is a writer and a graduate in modern literature and human resources management. And from the age of 4 to 8, she moved with her family to Grenoble in France, and that's where she found her love of writing because her love of reading, because her dad used to take her to the local library every week, and so she spent a lot of time in the library there, and that's where she developed her love of reading. In 1994, she returned to Algeria, and Algeria at the time was under a heavy influence of terrorism, so there was a lot of terrorism happening, and so it was a very sketchy time to be in Algeria. And basically, because she didn't have access to going out to libraries and stuff like that, and didn't have access to a lot of reading material, she started to write her own stories to fill in that time. And then while she was studying at a university in Algiers, she entered a writing contest that was put together by the French Institute for Young Writers, and basically she ended up becoming one of the writers that was selected to put into a collection, and that was basically where her writing career started. She wrote her first novel in 2009, and that same year that she published her novel, she went back to Paris and France, and she's worked for L'Oreal and whatnot while she's been writing. And the only works that I could find of hers that was published in English was this book, and obviously Riches of Ours, or whatever it was. What was it called? Our Riches, the other book, which is exactly the same as A Bookshop in Algiers. It's the same story, it's just got a different cover. I personally prefer the original 2017 one. So she has 6 novels to date, and her last one was published in 2019, if you do not include the one that's been republished in 2020, which is essentially her 2017 A Bookshop in Algiers. So yeah, I have left a link to her wiki page because I don't read French, and I was struggling to find the translation for it, so I just figured it's probably easier if I just leave her wiki page down there. That has a list of all her works on there, as well as on Goodreads as well. You can find that as well, and most of her things, like she's got videos on YouTube where she's being interviewed and all that sort of stuff, but it's all in French, so it makes it a little bit hard. But I will leave her wiki page down underneath. You can go and have a look at the list of awards that she's won, and also her list of books. And as I said, the only books that I could find that were translated was A Book in Algiers from 2017, and then again in 2020 they republished it under a different name, Our Riches. So, which sort of fits it too, but I think the first title suits the book a lot better. I don't know whether she's had better sales with the other one or anything like that. I couldn't find any information about that sort of stuff. But that is my review for A Bookshop in Algiers by, I don't know who. That's her. We've already established that I don't know how to pronounce her name. But the next one that I am onto is Andorra, and I am waiting for that book to come. So I will just skip that one and come back to it at a later date. So they won't technically be in alphabetical order if I've got to wait for a book, but I am reading them in alphabetical order the best way I can. It apparently won't be coming till June, late May, June. So I want to keep reading books. Whether I get one filmed between now and that book coming, I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see how much reading I can get in, because I've got a magazine to put out this month, and I've also got a weekend away with some friends this month, and I've got a lot on as far as quilting and all the rest of it. So my reading sometimes takes a hit. But that's it from me this week. Thank you so much for joining me. As always, if you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, especially if you're new here, or even if you're not and you still haven't yet subscribed, hit that subscribe button and the little bell icon beside it, and then that way you won't miss out on any future uploads and you can keep up to date with everything that I'm doing. Don't forget, head over to our Discord, join in the conversation over there about the books that we're reading, and I will see you all again next time. Bye for now.